said, is this dude really the real? Is this dude really the real? I said, he's a welterweight Roy Jones Jr.
A few moments later.
Boots is overrated. Boots is overrated. I said that some time ago. And people started tripping. So we're going to talk about that today on the Porterway Podcast.
That's the one and only Shawn Porter who fought everyone. He came out with the "I told you so" that Jaron Ennis is overrated. Shawn Porter did catch a lot of backlash, beginning from me, when he said that back in the day, because back then, Shawn Porter, a year back, he stated that he believes Jaron Ennis was the second coming of Roy Jones. He said Jaron Ennis is like Roy Jones 2.0. and that he don't see anybody beating him. Then, a few months later, Shawn Porter changed his mind and said that Jaron Ennis is overrated. Now, my whole thing back then is the inconsistencies by Shawn Porter. Because when you compare somebody to Roy Jones, that's like the biggest compliment a fighter can receive. Roy Jones was the pinnacle of boxing in his prime. So to compare Jaron Ennis to Roy Jones to the point where Shawn Porter said that Jaron Ennis is like Roy Jones 2.0, I couldn't comprehend how Shawn Porter went from saying that to flipping the script that Jaron Ennis is overrated all of a sudden, before Jaron Ennis had showed any flaws. I mean, did he hear that Jaron Ennis got KO'd in sparring or something for him to do a 180 like that? However, according to Shawn Porter at the moment in time, he said that he saw the same flaws back then that we see now. He saw certain signs that he already knew Jaron Ennis is overrated. Well, that's when you have to take your hat off to Shawn Porter. He definitely has the eyes of a tiger in the sport of boxing. He has the eyes of a fighter. He sees things that we don't see. If he was able to see flaws in Jaron Ennis back then more power to him. Obviously, Jaron Ennis, even early on in his career, he was getting hit. I mean, he wasn't like a perfect fighter the way Floyd, Roy Jones were, to the point where we never seen them get hit like that. However, I didn't see the type of flaws that I'm seeing today, to the point where Jaron Ennis is getting hit with nearly every punch. In the Korean rematch, Jaron Ennis was getting hit with everything in the kitchen sink. The crazy part about it, though, it ain't like Jaron Ennis can't do better. All he has to do is fight smarter. All he has to do is use his gifts more wisely. It ain't like Jaron Ennis doesn't have a great jab. He showed us a good jab before. It ain't like Jaron Ennis is missing a chin. It ain't like Jaron Ennis doesn't have a lot of speed, a lot of power, upper body movement, footwork, etc., etc., etc. Jaron Ennis has the entire package. And he even showed us in the past against Villa that he has the ability to put it all together. Against Villa, he didn't go straight for the KO. He was boxing early, playing it safe, utilizing his jab, controlling the distance. Then when he broke Villa a little bit down, that's when he started going to the pocket more and more and more, to the point where he finally completely destroyed Villa. He broke him down completely and took him out. That's how you're supposed to fight. But against Korean, Jaron Ennis went straight to the inside. He tried to make it a dogfight when it was not time to do so. Everything is about timing. Jaron Ennis did not utilize his 7-inch reach advantage by establishing his jab. Instead, he abandoned his jab. The best way I could put it is that Jaron Ennis abandoned his advantages against Korean. Why would you do that? Why would you handicap yourself against your opponent? That's pretty much what Jaron Ennis did, due to the fact that he has too many tools in his toolbox. You see, Jaron Ennis has Pandora box. Until he utilizes and understands how to use his tools more wisely, then we're going to see more of the same, which is more exciting fights at the expense of Jiron and his health. I mean, without a doubt, Jaron Ennis is still the best welterweight in the world. I still see him beating everyone. I just don't see him beating the top tier fighters like Terrence Bud Crawford. However, I do see him beating Virgil Ortiz though. There are good news and bad news for Jaron Ennis. The good news is that he can beat a lot of these fighters still. And he's going to give the fans some of the most exciting fights that we're going to see in the upcoming years. Without a doubt, Jaron Ennis is one of the most exciting fighters in the sport of boxing today. Now, the bad news is that it probably wouldn't even take a Terrence Bud Crawford to beat a Jaron Ennis. Even a Madrimov is a dangerous fight for Jaron Ennis. I heard Bozy Ennis say that, unlike Crawford, Jaron Ennis is going to pressure Madrimov and knock him out before 6. Now, here's the problem. Jaron Ennis can't afford to fight Madrimov the way he fought Kareem. Because if he goes straight for the KO like that, without establishing his jab, without making Madrimov work in order to hit him, then it might be a short night. Not just for Madrimov, it might be a short night for Jaron Ennis as well, because Madrimov has a lot of power. And if you're just going to go straight to the pocket like that, Madrimov is going to walk you straight to haymakers. That's why Crawford stayed in the outside, utilizing and establishing his jab since he had the longer reach. Jaron Ennis doesn't do that. And if he doesn't start fighting smart, according to his abilities, according to his gifts, then he's going to play into his enemy's territories. He's going to end up walking into traps left and right if he don't start correcting his mistakes, which is not fighting intelligently, according to his abilities, according to his attributes. Jaron Ennis needs to stop doing his opponent's work for them by giving up his own advantages at this level against certain opposition. If you don't fight the right fight, you could end up losing the fight. Even if you are the superior athlete, even if you are the better fighter. For example, Leonard versus Duran. In the first fight, Leonard failed for Duran trap. He fought his fight and ended up losing the fight due to that. In the second fight, Leonard learned from his mistake. He fought his own fight and took Duran to school to the point where Duran had to say, no mas, which is my point exactly. Jaron Ennis needs to take these lessons from these past greats instead of making the same mistakes they already made. Against Kareem, Jaron Ennis was a straight-up brawler. Even though he got the decision, he can't afford to do that against certain fighters, especially the ones that want to fight in the pocket. Better yet, the ones that pretend they want to fight in the pocket just to fool their opponents, to get comfortable, and they end up countering them. They end up becoming counterpunchers because that's their game plan. However, they pretend they want to fight in the pocket. You can't fight them guys straight up like a brawler the way Jaron Ennis did against Kareem. And Kareem was actually doing some of that to Jaron Ennis, which is why he had so much success. With that being said, go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe below. And to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace out. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.